There comes a time when you gotta take a stand. Be a man. I forgot the You'll never see the likes of me. I'm your worst nightmare. And I'm a badass. I forgot the words. Anyway, I digress. We move on now to Sharknado 3. Oh, hell no! And so this one takes place at Universal Studios. That's right. Universal Studios. In Orlando, Florida. Ding. And I don't mind this one over the second one because this is where it's really embraced its weird nature. The story is that Finn has gone by himself for some reason to DC to get a medal for defeating 2 Sharknadoes. Now, my biggest question is, why is he there by himself? His whole family is in Florida at Universal Studios waiting for him. If this is such a big thing for him to get this medal, why is he alone? I mean, his brother-in-law is there for the cameo that we get. And he's there. We get Sharks coming in there, and he is aided by President Mark Cuban. Well, that's not the president's name, but he's played by Mark Cuban. To be honest, that's not the worst idea for a president I've ever heard, but yeah, Mark Cuban is the president. I think Bill Engvall is the vice president, or the head of security or something. I don't know. And he's there, he's getting this award. It's like a golden chainsaw or whatever. And then the Sharks show up. So now he's on a road trip to get to his family. Now, this is the second film in which he is separated from his family. In the second film, he was separated from his sister and his wife, but she was, busy. She was, recuperating, but she was separated from his sister. Now he's separated from the rest of the family. He's got to get there. On the way there, he meets up with Nova, who is now partnering with Frankie Muniz, who plays a character who ends up dead anyway, and they make their way to Florida. Meanwhile, the Sharks start to show up in Florida, and you have April and her mother, played by Bo Derek, of all people, and you're shown right away that she has a fake arm that she can pull out, and there's a mini chainsaw in there. She's also pregnant. So one of the worst things you can do for a TV show or movie is to introduce a baby into the situation. So from now on, you got to plan for that child to be in the movie. And what they do with this character, this child, going on in future films, I'm not a fan of. But we'll get to that when we get to that. But here, she's just pregnant. She's got a little chainsaw thing. We get our wrestling cameo when the daughter, Claudia, now played by Ryan Newman, not the race car driver, but the actress, goes on this roller coaster ride with this. Her and her friend are there, and they meet up with 2 guys. One of them is Billy, played by Jack Griffo. And here's an interesting thing. Jack Griffo was on the Thundermans at the time, playing Max Thunderman. Shortly after this, Ryan Newman will be cast on the Thundermans to play Max's girlfriend, whose name I don't remember. But, yeah, just very interesting. Apparently they had enough chemistry to continue this thing. He dies, by the way, in here. Yelling at the TV, come on, use your powers or something. Freeze breath or fire breath, do something. So we get our wrestling cameo, and it's Le Champion, Chris Jericho, who gets eaten by a shark. And you know what happens? Do you know what happens? Shark. You know what happens when a shark eats him? You know what happens? Sharknado. You just made the list! Just play it. But yeah, shark eats him. And yeah, the whole thing, they got NASCAR, and they got, bunch of weird stuff. But the weirdest thing is that the plan they come up with. Apparently there's a secret government weapon that the astronauts know of. And so Finn has to seek out his father, played by David Hasselhoff. And when he does this, he finds his father at the diner having lunch with Penn and Teller. Yeah, that's what we come to. And there's constant news stuff too, going back and forth, that stuff. And so the plan is to go into space and try to go up and use the weapon to cause the Sharknado to disintegrate. But the Sharknado follows them into space. And both, April ends up going into space after confronting Finn about going up there. And they're all up there. Well, then this ship gets destroyed, mostly, and they get separated from Finn's dad, who knew that he would have to stay behind anyway, and they end up back on Earth. And this is where we get to the end. They land on Earth. April gets eaten by a shark, but then this little chainsaw thing comes through the shark, and a baby hand comes out. She gave birth in the shark. That's not most ridiculous. They actually ended this with, they're looking for these little wings that were Finn's, given to him by his father. And they find them, so April goes to grab them, and you see the satellite falling down, or something, piece of the shuttle, whatever, falling down on her. And it cuts, at least in the television version, it says, you get to vote whether April, you gotta go on Twitter or something, hashtag April lives, hashtag April dies. And we never officially know, because technically she's still alive, technically, sort of, kind of, maybe, in the next one. But it's just weird. I'll discuss that when we get to the fourth one, because that's confusing. But, yes, so that's the bulk of this movie. Again, CGI. I will say, there is a scene where Finn has this double chainsaw, and for the close-up, they did use a practical effect of him chainsawing something, like a practical shark setup thing, piece of foam with blood, whatever. But then they cut immediately to this, in doing it to the CGI, and it's like, okay, for that one little shot, you get practical effects. Who knows, right? The acting, I think this the one where Jerry Springer gets eaten by the shark. I think it is. But yeah, it's not bad. I like it over the second one. I'm still going to give it a 7 out of 10 because it's still cheesy as all hell, but it's not that bad. I think I enjoyed it just a little bit more than the second one. The second one's just kind of there. And this one, at least they know now, because they were in the second one, they were doing wacky stuff while still keeping it serious. Here, it's sort of serious, but you know that it's all tongue-in-cheek. So this is when they're starting to get tongue-in-cheek with everything, kind of weird and wacky. And so this is where they're starting to get a feel for where the franchise is going to go. And unfortunately, it gets even wacky from here, folks. But, like I said, 7 out of 8. Same as the last one, but this is a little bit better. So what are your thoughts on Sharknado 3? Oh, hell no! Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty. I'll see you in the next one.